Hello and welcome to today's episode of Focus Atlanta. No matter your political views, religious beliefs, or a stance on family values, typically we can all agree that education is the cornerstone of society.
Education is a human business. It's a human enterprise, and we need to have a lot of us humans running towards the schools, not abdicating, and taking up a role that they can play. And a lot of us have lots of things to do that can be really supportive to the schools.
Nationally, 1/3 of students, about 1.3 million each year, leave high school without a diploma at a high cost to themselves and society at large.
In Georgia, we've just released new graduation statistics by the state of Georgia, and they say now that the official graduation rate for the state for 2011, the year that was just completed, is 67.4% of the children who entered 9th grade graduated in 4 years. So we literally have just about 1/3 of our children not graduating according to that statistic.
It takes the community, it takes the school, it takes the parents. These kids can be saved, it can be positive, they can move on and be successful.
There are multiple risk factors which increase the likelihood that students will drop out. The evidence clearly shows that dropout is always the result of a long process of disengagement that sometimes begins before the child even enrolls in kindergarten.
Kids, the wheels come off all along the ages. I mean, they could be in middle school. We have kids who have problems when they're even little children. They come to school not really equipped with what they need, and they realize that they're behind. Sometimes they'll start acting out. Sometimes they have health problems.
A lot of people didn't know. I was hurt. I was broken at home. We had no water. Sometimes we had no lights at home. Sometimes we had no food. The only meal that I would get would be in school sometimes. That was breakfast or lunch. And I had poor attendance. I had behavior issues. I had anger problems. I had, no positive role models in my life. I was from a very broken home, very depressed.
When you earn a diploma or GED, you've also earned the opportunity to find a stable job with good income. According to the U.S. Department of Labor, a person with a high school diploma or GED will earn approximately $7,658 more annually than a non-high school graduate.
I remember seeing a chart that shows, if you just have a high school diploma, this is how much you could be making, versus a 4-year degree, this is how much you could be making. And I say, I got to go up here.
We know that the students of today are the leaders of tomorrow. We need an educated workforce.
The cost of dropping out are borne not just by the individuals, but by the communities in which they live and the rest of society. The potential economic benefit of improving students' academic outcomes should be a wake-up call to the importance of reforming America's high schools.
We're good at providing support to teachers, and we need to do a whole lot more to that in terms of the school system. So we focus on instruction, and the school systems focus on the governance issues, principals and school boards and superintendents. And we need to do more of that because all teachers and all superintendents and principals, they all need more support. But what we don't have is a system that supports the children and the families in the way we need to.
If the community just gets involved with the school on a local level, if there's a school in your neighborhood, stop by and see what you can offer. You don't have to be a parent to help a child in our school. We have a lot of grandparents in our communities that come and just read to some students or do math tutoring.
Communities in Schools is a nonprofit corporation whose goal is to surround students with a community of support, empowering them to stay in school and to achieve in life.
Communities in Schools is one of the largest, if not the largest actually, community-based organizations in the country helping children to achieve in school and succeed in life. And we're committed to those kids who, absent some kind of an intervention, somebody doing something special, might not be a good student when they really could be if we provided the support for them.
Communities in Schools of Atlanta was started in 1972 because of the high dropout rate of inner city school students. Community Schools focuses on at-risk students, dealing with not only the school, but also the homes, the parents, and the community. We also bring in partnerships to help children succeed so that they will be successful in life.
Along with Bill Milliken and David Lewis, Neil Shorthouse co-founded the organization to help urban kids graduate from high school and plan successful futures. Founded in Georgia over 30 years ago, Communities in Schools is now the nation's leading dropout prevention organization, serving over 1 million youth in 25 states and the District of Columbia. The nationwide network of nonprofit organizations focuses on improving student and school success by providing needed support and services to students and schools.
I felt like I needed this program because I had no family support, none whatsoever. When I went home, it was like a different type of lifestyle for me. No people, nobody telling me to do your homework, oh, don't go outside. It's whatever I wanted to do when I went home. So I needed that extra push when I went to school to get, go the extra mile.
Please stay tuned for more Focus Atlanta and our focus on education in Georgia. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Focus Atlanta. Communities in Schools of Georgia, the state CIS organization, provides services to communities seeking to improve outcomes for students and schools in their communities.
Everybody needs to belong, and I think a lot of our kids simply need to know that somebody out there actually cares about them and is genuinely interested in what they're going to do, what they will become in life, and is also not too busy to take a second out of their day, that is, to just to say, hello, how are you doing today? If not, fine, then what can I do to help you?
A lot of my students, I start out with 9th grade. They come in from middle school. They might have some behavior problems, some attendance problems, something that might stop them from matriculating as they should through high school. So what we do is put them on our case list, and we do a lot of one-on-one contact, small peer groups. We bring in people from the communities, partners from the communities, such as our department stores, grocery stores, and anybody in the neighborhood that can help them be successful.
Communities in Schools believes that programs don't change kids, relationships do. The philosophy is focused on building a supportive environment for children and youth to help them to thrive and to be successful.
I have a collection of colognes in my classroom. I bring colognes to the school, and a lot of the guys would drop by just to spray on cologne. And that's my time to engage with them about their day. Little do they know that, though. Hopefully they won't find out. But this is my opportunity to actually speak with them about their day. And based on their response, if it's negative, then I get to ask them, well, what happened? Okay, what could you have done differently to change it? And also the fact that just the mere fact of them smelling good, they feel better about themselves. And so that's kind of a connection that I have with them, and it's a great one.
I've met a couple people like Mr. Ragland, Harold Beasley. I call him my uncle because I've known him ever since I was little. And Mr. Larry Banks. These were my academy leaders, counselor, and my graduation coach. But all three of these people has impacted my life so much, and you know what I'm saying? Like, they give me like a urge like to make me want to do right, but you should have that type of motivation in yourself. And I learned how to get that type of motivation and mature and do the right thing.
CIS provides communities with support in developing programs and services to combat the problems of school failure and dropouts in the schools.
I didn't have a childhood. You know, I didn't go outside and play. I was worried about how the bills were going to get paid. We're going to have food on the table. So, but because of communities and schools, and of course you can only imagine the anger that I had built inside. But I never showed that. I went to school happy, you know, joking around, laughing. But I had so much anger inside. But I actually received professional counseling because of that. I received a mentor because of communities and schools. And I just got support. I mean, I had people believing in me.
We have in our society today children who, like every era of children, need lots of support. We just can't assume that that's going to magically happen. The complexities of society make it even harder and harder for parents. It's making it harder and harder for kids. We need kids to be welcomed. We need kids to be warned. We need kids to be helped. We need kids to be nurtured, loved. We need kids to feel like there's hope for them. We need to have every kid in Georgia walking into a school feeling like this is my place and I can really be great here.
CIS believes every child needs and deserves the 5 basics: a personal one-on-one relationship with a caring adult, a safe place to learn and grow, a healthy start and a healthy future, a marketable skill to use upon graduation, and a chance to give back to peers and community.
One of the big things is the relationships we develop with our kids. They become trusting of other people. A lot of our kids are in situations where people have made promises that they have not kept. So they don't trust a lot of people. And you watch them as they matriculate to where they really count on you and they get used to if what you said is what's going to happen, and that changes their whole life. I think that once they begin to trust people, it's going to change the way they deal with people as they go on to post-secondary education also.
There's always somebody out there that can help you and give you that extra push to keep moving forward. So never give up. Just ask for advice, ask your counselor, ask teachers, ask anybody who you're close to in the school to help you out, and I'm pretty sure they'll provide you with assistance.
Key CIS initiatives include mentoring, parent engagement, literacy, youth leadership, after-school programs, and performance learning centers, or PLCs. PLCs are small high schools geared towards students not succeeding in the traditional school setting.
Traditional education, I wouldn't say it worked sometimes, but when I needed help, like really needed help, I don't felt like it worked, and CIS was there like kind of giving me the extra push, like I said, and like the support system is like very strong, and you know what I'm saying, they're there for you. Like, so when you need help financial, make sure you go on trips, make sure you know what I'm saying, attend everything like you need, and make sure you have everything you need, I feel.
If we develop a stronger sense of community like it was in 1964 and on, there was an extension. There was an extended family. You know, if I got home and my mother wasn't at home, then my neighbor next door made sure that we were in the house, that we didn't have everybody in our house, and also that if mom wasn't home to cook, then she would cook and share the food, or to make sure that we're doing our homework, that we're making healthy choices. And I think if we get back to that, whereas we have that extended family, that a sense of we and not just me, then I think our kids and our communities will be much stronger.
Nationally, more than 7,000 students become dropouts every school day. It is imperative to provide every student with an equal opportunity to succeed in education and to graduate from high school.
We started Communities in Schools because we had this inherent belief that all kids can learn and succeed. We knew that. And we knew so many, however, especially those who were in the lower economic, say lower third, they just weren't doing as well as they could. And we knew that we knew them in non-instructional settings, and we knew they were smart. We just felt like we needed to do more to support the schools and to support those kids who were in the schools.
It's kind of funny because I never heard of CIS Communities in Schools, but I was in the 7th grade. I couldn't see the board. I had trouble, learning. I had trouble trying to, take notes off the board. So actually my teacher recommended me to CIS because of glasses. And 4th, 5th, 6th, part of 7th grade, couldn't see. We couldn't afford glasses at home. We couldn't afford contacts, anything like that. So I knew I needed glasses, but that teacher in community schools, they kind of worked together to provide that service for me.
Please stay tuned for more Focus Atlanta. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching Focus Atlanta, and I am your host, Keisha Lancelin. Traditional education is built on the premise that each student will come to school with a conventional family support system in place. But family looks different in 2012. There are more single-parent households than ever, which means parents are working harder than ever to provide, and sometimes leaving kids to raise themselves.
Schools presuppose a support system coming in with every child. That's what they're built on. They're built on that presumption. And if that isn't there, if those kids aren't supported, they may not be as successful, and the teachers may not be able to succeed with them as well as they are with other kids.
Community in School provided an after-school program called Virtual Office at that particular time, and they provided transportation home. So I met this couple, his van driver, Jerome Cofield, and he invited us to go to church one Sunday. And at this point in my life, I knew I needed something more than what my parents can do, and actually something more that community and schools can do, in which I knew I needed God. So I ended up giving my life to Christ in 2002, and And so at that point, I thought everything's going to be perfect. I thought, okay, you're saved, you're a Christian, you know, my lights won't get turned off no more. But sadly to say, a month later, our lights got turned off, and I didn't understand. I'm in the 8th grade at this time. I didn't understand why the lights are turned off. And I called the Cofields, my site coordinator at that time. She was very important in my life. And also the executive director at that time, Tina Duckett, she was in my life. And I built special relationships, all three of them. And I called them. But the Cofields came. I wanted to go over to Cofield's house because they had 2 sons that was close to my age, so I had somebody to, relate to. So I called and I asked them if I spend one night, and I ended up staying 6 years. I never went back home. I actually ended up staying until I went to college.
Working with communities in schools has impacted the growth of thousands of students across Georgia.
I have a student that was diagnosed in his 9th grade year with cancer. They did not expect him to graduate or to finish high school. He did not only graduate, but he's now a freshman at Fort Valley State. We pulled him into the communities and schools, and a lot of us picked him up for schools when he couldn't get there. We made ways for him to get to the prom. We just did everything to support him, to let him know that he was going to make it.
Community in school is not just a program. I mean, it is a life-changing experience. Because if I didn't need glasses, I would not have been on that bus. I would not have moved into a home where I didn't have to worry about the lights and the water and the food. Honestly, I don't think I would be in college.
Through cultivating relationships with schools, teachers, mentors, and the community at large, students experience a major shift in their thinking, behavior, and attitude.
It impacted my life so much because if I didn't have community in schools, who knows where I'd be right now. I'd probably be on the streets. I could even be a dropout, but I don't want to be that person. Community in schools gave me that extra push. I needed community in schools.
Mr. Sharif Axam, he's a senior now at Mays High School, and I've watched him grow, I've watched him mature, and I know that he now is focused, and then he also has developed a sense of we in terms of that community. He's talked about the mistakes that he's made, making sure that those who are coming behind him don't make the same mistakes.
Last summer, Communities in Schools, or CIS of Georgia, was awarded funding by AT&T through its Aspire program to create College Success Corps, a mentoring initiative for high school juniors and seniors.
The AT&T Aspire program was first rolled out in 2008, and it was to assist financially organizations that had an existing or a planned dropout rate prevention program. AT&T has a long history of being involved in education, and it is one of our primary foundation drivers. We are very encouraged by CIS because they're one of the few organizations that are able to quantifiably prove their results. Their strategic alignment is very close to ours in trying to help with the dropout rate.
AT&T Aspire is one of the largest corporate commitments to address high school success and workforce readiness.
In 2008, we rolled out the first Aspire program, and CIS of Atlanta was one of the first grantees, and we were so excited that Atlanta won that. They actually got $400,000 over 4 years to help with their dropout rate prevention program. So just a great match for us.
Investing in turning dropouts into graduates will benefit all citizens, not simply the students or parents with children in schools.
It is so important for all corporations and all parents to be involved in making these children a success.
We are in a very competitive world, not just a competitive Georgia, not just a competitive Atlanta, but we're in a competitive world, and we've got to invest more in our children than we've ever invested. And it doesn't mean that money is the solution to the problem. You have to have money, but you need more than money. You need good-hearted people connecting with each other.
Each positive connection a student makes could be the difference between dropping out and receiving their diploma and moving on into post-secondary education.
CIS works, Keisha. It really works. I've seen the results. About 88% of the students that go through their program graduate, and these are students that otherwise would have been lost, that may not have completed school. Many of these have gone on to post-secondary education.
With the help of Communities in Schools, I just published my first book January 2012. So I'm actually, I'm an author. I'm a motivational speaker. I'm traveling to speak and sell my book. So that's what I'm doing. I'm actually working on the second book. I want to keep it going. So communities in school, you know, so that's what's next for me. Publish a book. Like I said, I graduate April 28th. I'm hoping to have some type of job opportunity to come up. So that's my plan, and hopefully I will go back and get my master's in early childhood education.
We'll be right back with more Focus Atlanta. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. Thanks for following us on our journey to see what works when it comes to keeping our kids in school.
I plan on attending Johnson C. Smith University, and I would like to play tennis up there because I spoke with the coach, you know what I'm saying? I'm connected with the tennis team, so that's my next push, and you know, I want to be an educator so I can help somebody like they helped me.
CIS does an amazing job of connecting with students that have some at-risk situations.
47 counties have communities and schools in Georgia. Now there's 159 counties, so we are a long way from being able to cover the state. But we have great designs on trying to expand that because there is certainly a need. Literally there's about 2,200 schools in Georgia, between 2,200 and 2,300 schools. 95% of those schools need what CIS has because there are children who are not being successful for academic and non-academic reasons, and we're there to support the schools and bring community resources to help them to do that job.
We need time, we need resources. It's not a free program. We would love to have financial support to get more and more coordinators out there to help these kids. There are so many schools that still need assistance that there's just not enough money to go around. So any help that we can get from the public would be greatly appreciated.
So community in school has opened so many doors for me to speak and people to hear my story. Because, you know, it is my testimony, and community in school is part of my testimony. Because I wouldn't be who I am without community in school. So,
what all students need is the support to recognize that anything is possible.
I actually met Fredrick Bailey that you've taught with today at a fundraiser for communities in schools about a year ago, and he was a keynote speaker. He just stole my heart, and I have kept in touch with him, and I am looking forward to attending his graduation from the University of West Georgia this Saturday, and I will probably be one of his biggest supporters and, you know, calling out his name in the crowd because he has such a wonderful success story. And Fredrick will tell you he would have been lost had it not been for this organization. So meeting wonderful students like them, like him, has just been a positive story in my life as well.
Learn more about communities in schools and take the time to make our students' success a top priority. Thanks for watching Focus Atlanta this week. Please stay tuned every week here on CW69.